What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Summit EU qualifiers. We have ourselves just one best of 3 on the day. A little bit awkward, perhaps, but hey, with the caliber of teams, I'm pretty sure nobody is complaining. Navi going up against Vega Squadron. The first best of 3 they're going to be playing in this qualifier phase, so pretty much no results just yet. Here's where we're going to make some. I'm Mike Loris, going to be joined by Kefka for this best of 3 because God knows I cannot handle this game by myself. Dude, you there? How you doing?
Yes, I am here, and I'm doing very good this fine evening in Sweden, where it's pretty nice weather. And I'm here to watch some great Dota between two great CIS teams.
And, well, I think this third guy on Navi, that should be Saneko. I didn't actually check that when we were in the lobby, but I'm pretty sure that everyone's actually here, despite having some people tagged up as stand-ins, so we shouldn't have any problems there. We will have, however, Navi going for a little bit of a larger scope in their plan. Nature's Prophet and IO, that is a lot of split push, that is a lot of global power.
This is actually the exact same opening they did a few days ago. I'm not sure against who or what tournament, but they opened IO and Nature's Prophet, and it's quite an interesting opening. Like, it's not a lot of teams at least favor Prophet this early. Actually, the teams that like Prophet actually pick it in the early phases, so it's maybe not that weird, but it's pretty risky, I'd say, running these kind of lineups. Like, you're already committed to split pushing almost. One of your two roles that are mainly, a lot of the times, the biggest team fighters are already split pushers. So Vega could go a strategy that they're kind of looking for already with a Warlock Terrorblade, 5-man push, and you might just not even have a chance in the end.
I mean, it is a pretty fast push rate for Nature's Prophet. IO, I mean, if he's going up with one of his more classic IO buddies, can usually push pretty quickly as well, but I mean, as you said, it's really hard to outrace a Terrorblade when he decides that he wants your towers down. And I'm assuming Vega Squadron will also have a little bit more physical damage coming out from perhaps their mid laner to contribute into that push as well. It is a delicate game whenever you're trying to race for objectives. Like, depending on the game state, you may or may not even want to make tower trades. So Navi will have a good portion of time where this is just a perfectly reasonable, perfectly feasible way to play the game. But as far as actually winning the game, that's where you usually see these drafts struggle a little bit, because they usually have to group up and ball up if they want to take serious objectives, and at that point they usually can't win those team fights.
Yeah, we're gonna see. It's still pretty early, so both teams can change up the draft quite a lot. It's not like Navi are really committed to split push either. Prophet is actually the new talent of Prophet, and you can go, like, I feel like you can go so many items on that hero, and you're so versatile. So you see drums a lot. I think you can go mech. You can go a mech 5-man push, even though they changed the armor, the tower, so they tank more against 5-man. Or, you know, for those who don't know, I can't explain it properly, but if you know, you understand what I mean.
They're just tankier.
So it's a bit worse. Yeah, the towers are tankier when they're more heroes, so you don't really want a 5-man push, but you can still do it. Prophet with the early level 10 talent that gives him 250 HP, I think. So at level 10, he's like, if he went like Threads and mech, he can have like 1400 HP, and he's not gonna die, and he will always get mech off, and you can just like push from that. So there's some, and also you can just go the like old school split push Prophet. You can go Necrobook if you want. You can go Aghanim's. So there's like a lot of options in his hero. So it's not set in stone anything yet. Now we're gonna go Disruptor, which is also a bit like you can catch, you can like split push, and Disruptor is very good at catching heroes, like forcing them back, and they TP, you glimpse him back, you kill that person, and Nature's Prophet and IO comes back and defends when some TP'd and some got caught. So now we're set up to be able to punish if they can force Vega to move the way they want.
It's a decent hero to have up against Terrorblade, full stop, but it's also a really good hero to have whenever, if you expect the enemy team to be going for that 5-man push style that we were talking about earlier, just because, yeah, you'll be able to put some damage to the tower, but the awkward part is afterwards when you're trying to make your retreat. You retreat as 5, but you know that one person is most likely going to have to struggle up against that Disruptor, so it is a way for Navi to force those engagements. And now Storm Spirit, they are going very, very pick-off heavy. It seems like they had the flexibility. I feel like until this pick happened from the Storm, they are just looking to pick heroes off. And Vega, they have so many responses now. Nick Assassin, of course, great up against the Storm Spirit, but between him and the Spirit Breaker, Vega's roam Vega's early game kind of mobility around the map is pretty substantial as well.
Yeah, this is some interesting stuff. And Vega are gonna ban Slark because Navi ran his exact lineup, but with a Slark. So I'm expecting them to know that and ban Slark, even though maybe it's not the greatest Slark game, but I feel like that's a pretty good way. But it's so fast. Like both of these teams know exactly what they want to do this game. So we're gonna see some of the. Everyone has their comfort picks. Both teams are doing what they want to do. So it's pretty fun to see that. So we're gonna see the best of Navi against the best of Vega, at least when it comes to drafting. And yeah, it's gonna be the Slark ban, Quaff ban from Navi, just a lane dominator. I think Navi kinda needs to snowball a bit from lanes, more so than Vega does, because Vega has a teamfight hero, as in Navi doesn't. And I think it's easier to come back with teamfight heroes if you don't have any teamfight, and if you're only relying on split push and some pickups, you kinda wanna be ahead all game long. So they kind of would like a teamfight hero, but Pycat generally doesn't play those type of heroes. He plays like Ursa, Slark, Troll Warlord, maybe a Weaver, stuff like this.
Yeah, I mean, usually just you don't expect huge teamfight contributions to come out from your one position role, and well, Pycat's still looking for his hero, and he is gonna have some serious options for sure. It does seem like he's gonna have to just go full on the split push train and just try to win the map on the global scale. There are many ways for a lifestealer to get in. It's not really fantastic right now, but it does seem like Pycat will struggle to get into the targets that really matter when you have, the Warlock Rock to worry about. Spirit Breaker, Nick Assassin, obviously very disruptive as well. Now Vega Squadron pick up Alina as their last pick. Good matchup up against the Storm Spirit, and for Navi, Disruptor, Io, I mean, they can help out the Storm Spirit to not die in the lane, but they're not really going to be proactively pressuring the Lina.
Yeah, I think Vega has a very strong lanes set up, and I think Navi, really wonder what they like. This would normally be like an Ursa or Troll, so I'm expecting one of those two. And the other options aren't really that good. Jugger could be fine, he's still in the pool actually, kind of surprisingly. He went through this far. All of these carries actually, there's a lot of carry options left. There's not a lot of bans in that role, so they have a lot of options if they're versatile. I don't know how versatile Pycat is. I think he tends to play a few heroes more so than play like Burning and play like 200. It's gonna be the Jugger, yeah. I think that was probably the better option. Like Ursa is kind of weak against a lot of stuns, like it's easy to sunder an Ursa who's in the middle of the fight. Jugger at least has the Omni Slash, has Manta Illusion, stuff like this. So it's not always like you can like, oh, there's a sunder target. That's how Ursa works. Ursa runs in and Turblade's like, oh, I'm gonna sunder that guy when I need to, because he's always gonna be in the middle of the fight. But Jugger is a bit harder, so I like that adjustment.
Yeah, it's very easy to have a very quick, immediate impact. When you're a Juggernaut and you get relocated into the fight, you just jam that Omni Slash button and you're probably going to do some damage. And as you said, Ursa up against this many stuns from Vega Squadron, Reflection from Terrorblade, the fact that Ursa will struggle to kill off a Terrorblade most of the time just because of how tanky the Terrorblade is. I do like how they have this immediate contribution hero coming out from this Juggernaut. And, in this patch, in this day and age, it's a Juggernaut pick. Woo-wee. How bold. Do these guys really still not have any tower levels?
Is it bugged? I feel like someone should have it, right? I don't know. I haven't seen anyone actually in a captain's mode. I wonder if it possibly is bugged in captain's mode or something.
Or maybe it's just a lot harder to get captain's mode towers for some reason.
I actually don't know much about it. Okay, both teams are gonna TP out. One of the supports, Beaver on top lane, and Simo on bottom. Maybe we should do introduction. This is the game 1 actually. Yeah,
we got ourselves a best of 3 on the day, and well, Vega, they're gonna be loading out on the Radiant side. Afterlife, Nick's Assassin is gonna be handling that lane up towards top. G is on his Lina. I feel like I see him play this hero all the time. Sioma's gonna be on the Spirit Breaker, helping out the Re-AO on the Terrorblade, who I'm gonna quickly check to see if that's actually who it should be. Silent is gonna be on the Warlock.
Yeah, in general, with the taunts, I think taunting has become popular because of a certain Brazilian team. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't have taunt binded until they played in the major. Now I have taunt bind now, and now I use it quite a lot. And I also see people do it more. I don't know if they just think it's funny or if they're trying to mind game.
Well, now everyone's just gonna build up a resistance to taunting. Just like a mental block where it's like, oh, he's taunting. That's perfectly normal. Standard plays right there.
I mean, people are gonna like scale it up, you know. There's gonna be item denies and like attempt and like the same, you know, the drop basher and fake attack it and cancel and pick it up. It's gonna just escalate into something incredibly stupid.
Well, General is seriously taunting on this Nature's Prophet, making it rain. Definitely a comfortable hero for him. Same thing over towards mid, Dendi. Storm Spirit, this should be Snako on the IO, although I have no idea what this name is he's tagged up as. Pycat Jug Giver as Disruptor, and yeah, it is going to be pretty much exactly the lanes you would expect. Dendi gonna get charged. I think this is gonna at least grab him the bounty rune, which is pretty much all he wanted. That's gonna be a 3-1 split.
Yeah, it's kind of common to this ward was like specifically placed to almost do that. Like half the reason this ward has been placed from Sima was to steal the bounty. So he's like, I want the value back from this ward, so I'm gonna steal their bounty. Io was blocking mid, also gone on Iron Talon. Yeah. Pretty much standard, I'd say. Maybe like 50-50, like what people do, but it's very common to see Io Iron Talon. However, he is going to some place where Iron Talon is probably not going to be that efficient.
Sioma circled all the way behind the enemy tier 2 into the enemy jungle to get a charge on Dendi, and this damage starting to add up quite a bit. And again, this lineup of supports for Na'Vi, they don't really assertively pressure the Lina, whereas when you're running a Spirit Breaker, you're going to be sitting on the mid lane Storm Spirit as much as possible. For as long as you have mana, really, you're going to be looking for those charges. So Dendi, he will need his bottle very quickly, and even when you do get the bottle, the Lina should have something very similar as far as her sustained damage output is concerned. Will make it a little bit of a struggle lane, unless he gets some help.
God, Io might be dead if Silent body blocks like a champion. Kinda trying to body block too much. But gonna force a shrine from Saneko. And he might actually die, maybe Thunderbreaker rotate in. Because he doesn't have tether, so he can't get out really.
Well, zero armor base. He will survive. That is a pretty big asset for both General and Dendi, really. Now down the tubes, kind of wasted just to keep this IO alive. Of course, it is worth it. You don't want your IO to die there. You don't want to give up first blood, obviously. But now Dendi, I mean, those dings and scratches I was mentioning earlier will stick a little bit more on this Storm Spirit. He is going to do just fine in this lane CS-wise. Like, you take a lot of damage, but with the amount of base damage Storm Spirit has, especially with Overload, usually you're not going to really struggle to get those CS. Even under the tower, you should be just fine. So, he will be fine in the grand scale of things. Now, towards the top lane, we have ourselves a lane as well. It should be a pretty slow one. Nyx Assassin can definitely die to this lane of Na'Vi, but as long as he's careful, plays in the trees, should be able to leech experience pretty much 24/7.
Yeah, he's getting some decent experience, but really struggling lost hits. Pycat with the 13 denies, it's pretty insane. And Suneko is actually struggling. This is one of the worst openings I've seen from an IO in some time, having this little. And so General is rotating mid with a Prophet. This is running mid as a Prophet. This is kind of rare. You got an Natus rune, but normally you TP.
Oh, Dendi, he's already at less than half HP. Charge comes in. Jesus can take a lot of damage and will go down as Suneko sneaks in with the balls. Dendi gonna get away from Sioma as the creeps get in the way, not letting the Spirit Breaker close the distance. Dendi lives at 40 HP, and Na'Vi get 2 kills off of that. I mean, you sometimes expect these really cheesy Nature's Prophet TPs to come in. You don't expect the Invis rune to come in, and then suddenly 3 heroes over in the mid lane. Lina took a lot more damage than I'm sure she was prepared for.
Yeah, Na'Vi set that up. They knew what was about to happen, or like they kind of had a pretty good feeling about what was gonna happen, what Sima wanted to do, and even General rotated in early. It was pretty good. Afterlife on top lane is not gonna die. Took a lot of damage. But a really good play. That should have been a first blood for Vega, but it turned into a double kill for Na'Vi. So that's a big advantage for them right now.
Also going to give Suneko a little bit more gas in the tank, since he said he was having a
General
little bit of struggle. General is going to get charged out of his TP, and I think they should just have enough beatdown damage to kill him off here. And they will. Silent will grab that, despite channeling Upheaval the entire time. Still a kill on the Nature's Prophet, well worth it. But yeah, now the IO has just a little more experience, getting closer to that level 3 mark, and help his clearing by quite a bit, and of course has that tether. I heard IO with tether is actually pretty good, so yeah, this IO is, would you say, fully recovered, even accelerated beyond where he should be?
I think he's came back, you know. I think generally you would probably be level 4 almost at this stage. And I think this is like about the time where you would start rotating to lanes if you went I don't tell on IO, but he's had a fine game. That nice setup in mid really made this game a lot better for, especially Dandy, I think more so than Saneko even. And nice D-ward from Svima, they saw that. The problem for Vega is that Afterlife is actually getting destroyed in top lane. This is a hard matchup from the beginning. Nyx is good against most heroes, but his 3 weaknesses is the Jugger, the Nikes, and the third hero, which I forgot, I'm sorry.
Slark?
But this is... Yeah, Slark is kinda... This one is worse. Ursa, yeah, Ursa. Those 3 are really hard for Nyx to lane against. And Jugger has like the highest killing potential, while Ursa is the hero that you can't even stand in lane against, so... He's not died, but he's not getting any losses. He's getting good experience though. That's like the upside of it. You probably get good experience compared to those on Ursa, but you're not getting any losses.
Yeah, I mean, just the fact that Nyx Assassin, the way he survives the lanes, usually that he's in the off lane, Spike Carapace keeps him safe, irrelevant up against the Blade Fury. Slow poke damage is usually not a big factor because of his high armor, poor man's shield, and regeneration. Again, not really a big deal since Juggernaut does all of his damage so quickly, and it's all magic damage from this Blade Fury. So the Juggernaut kind of has the Nyx Assassin's number, just lane matchup wise. And that is going to be a little bit of a struggle. I mean, the Spirit Breaker, net worth wise, has more than the Nyx, and he is, to be fair, doing his best to wander around the map and apply that pressure. But G's doing well, bottom lane, gonna get the Terrorblade a pretty good time, but that's about it. Na'Vi are doing a lot better on a lot more heroes.
Yeah, pretty early game though. Like, Terrorblade is doing great, Lina's doing good, Nyx is struggling, but other than that, it's pretty even overall. It's just rotation mid now. Storm is not 6 yet, he's probably going down.
There's a Lacuna Blade on the Lina, for sure. An easy death. Biver and Saneko both coming in, and they will come in with the general Nature's Prophet as well. Silent straight TP out, Glimpse is going to bring him back. Silent's going to run to the north, charge through. I think that actually could have maybe brought him a little bit of space, but I'm not sure if he's surviving that, even if the charge does connect. Probably just kills off Sioma. Either way, it's still a 1-for-1 trade, and they will continue to try to keep the Storm Spirit down and continue accelerating this Lina. This kill power definitely rearing its ugly head here in favor of Vega, and now we have a 1k net worth lead in favor of this Lina over in mid. I mean, Dendi will have a slightly easier time when Ball Lightning comes up, but even then, it's not that hard for Vega to play the shadows and try to sneak in a stun to start things off. And if you land one stun, you're probably getting that kill.
Yeah, they have at least the Lina has insane damage. One of the highest damage output heroes, I think, in like early-ish game. And Spirit Break is a pretty good hero to set it up. And the benefit of Nature's Prophet actually, Terrorblade is usually a hero that pressures the tower quite heavily, but you can't really pressure a tower against a Prophet, because he can use Treants to pull the aggro, as also he's generally very strong in general. Very funny. But he's very good in lane, so it's hard to get a tower, which is one of the advantages of a Terrorblade. So what you usually see when this happens is that Terrorblade usually rotates either to mid or to top lane at this early, just to avoid the Prophet in lane and get a tower on another lane. We're not gonna see it this game, which I'm not sure if it's the correct decision. We see here teams like OG and Navi as well. Pyka does this a lot, where it just rotates to the lane that's easiest to take a tower and ignores his own safe lane.
He put in a little bit of damage over in this bot lane, but we see General now with the creeps kind of swelling beneath him is actually going to be able to push back a metamorphed Terrorblade, which is damn near impossible to do with the vast majority of heroes, but General is going to make it happen thanks to that extra tree and support. Metamorph now down, and Terrorblade is just going to have to play this one a little bit slower. General will, of course, make those rotations out, and once he does, Terrorblade's going to pick up on that, instantly pop Metamorph if he has it, go to town on the structures, and will eventually bring it down. But as you said, rotation for a Terrorblade is really, really common, especially in mid lane scenarios where you're winning like this. Like, you could have your Lina and your Terrorblade just go to work and really just take down that mid tower before Na'Vi have any sort of substantial response to it. And if they do group up, Na'Vi don't really have that much AoE to deal with a serious push.
Yeah, they're gonna have to rely on split pushing when mid games hits for sure. It's not easy to defend against Vega's straight 5-man. Vega kinda, they have good 5-man, but they kinda started moving away from the 5-man to get better catch in the Spirit Breaker and the Nyx. So I think they hit a pretty nice sweet spot in terms of the draft, where it landed and how it deals with Na'Vi. So are we gonna see that rotation that I talked about Pyka does? They rotates to opponent's safe lane. He's TP down at least. Seems like they're gonna do that, and Vega's response should probably be to just ignore and push other lanes, because I think they can push 2 lanes. Oh, Afterlife. Oh, this is the dream. No!
Almost the dream.
Oh my god.
Vendetta almost kills off the Storm Spirit. Hey, you know what? He's off the map. He's not farming. It's still somewhat of a win, but as you said, the dream not quite achieved. Pycat's rotation towards bottom lane. Thought they were going to make a really aggressive play on Silent, getting to a little bit of fist fight with General, but not going to make that happen just yet. Still, they'll see Silent.
Not 6.
Yeah, that's the important intel they're going to gain here. Know that he is very
6.
vulnerable, but there is a lot of help coming in. He's going to start channeling that out of people, and whoa! Okay, that was 2 ultimates to zap down that Warlock. He's super dead, but now they're in a really bad spot. General is mostly going to be focused here, and he will go down first. Pycat will slip out to the north. Everyone else from Na'Vi going to back out as well. It's a pretty expensive trade. Vega do make their defense, and it is going to cost them a little bit of damage in the tier 1 mid, but that's pretty much negligible. Ultimately, it's just Na'Vi going a little bit too deep. Can't instantly find the Warlock in that aggressive play.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Vega needed to do this though. I feel like they have the better trade, and they want to have a Warlock level 6 though, more than anything.
Oh, Sioma.
Na'Vi,
He's going to find the Disruptor, but this is a
could
level
be a
6
bait.
hero with IO support. Don't really want to mess with that. Off to the south, they're going to focus on the Terrorblade. He does have a
God,
Sunder right now. Can he get it off? Glimpse back, still alive. Now has a chance to get that life swap in general. Looks like the field force to that. He's going to go down as the Chaotic Offering does drop. Beaver on the run. And charge. Be dead.
Yeah, ended up pretty bad. It's really hard against Terrorblade early levels. Like when he has Thunder and you want a team fight like this and you focus in the Terrorblade, if you don't kill him, you're losing the fight. And kind of a forced fight, because Terrorblade used meta earlier. Oh, Sioma, that was pretty sweet actually. They're gonna trade towers, it looks like. Can G defend this? He might get a deny. I think that's what he's aiming for.
Almost there. Not quite. Pycat will get the last hit. Sorry, I had to cough something fierce there. Hopefully I'm not going to die, because that will be really awkward to have you solo cast this without the camera moving. But the big issue there was that they weren't able to get all the right types of magic damage on the Terrorblade. They don't really have a ton to begin with. Dendi is going to be set up upon Wrath of Nature, not going to bounce through, but the stuns will land perfectly. Afterlife almost whiffed it, but hey, it's a hit, and Dendi's going to go down.
Yeah, pretty nice kill there. That was pretty close. He had 10 stick charges on, then they almost got out. But they got a tower. So Na'Vi traded towers efficiently. They got both mid and the top tower, while they only lost bottom. And they're gonna get the bottom tower now as well, without having any pressure on any lane. So this is the strong benefit of their lineup, with the Prophet, the IO, and also like Storm and Jagger are also pretty mobile. So this is how they want to play, which is why I kind of dislike the team fight they took down here, where I feel like they can force fights where they have better numbers a lot of the times. But I mean, it ended up being very good. I think maybe losing 3 heroes for a small team fight is not that bad when you start getting this kind of advantage in the map. So in the end, it's pretty sweet for them. However, Vega are doing very good with Terrorblade and Lina on top of the network.
The game does get a lot easier for Na'Vi once they take down just the tier 1s. Split push wise, pick off wise, the IO and the Storm Spirit. You typically tend to have a lot more options, assuming you have at all some decent vision on the map. Just observe rewards, having those treants fan out from General. So making these initial tower trades, making these kind of kills for tower trades for Na'Vi in the kind of mid-game run is definitely very worth it, assuming they do keep their aggressive style up. For right now, though, everyone on Vega, actually everyone, is farming their jungle. Nyx Assassin Now on the roam, he does have his Vendetta, but the only target presenting for Na'Vi is Pycat in mid. And, well, he's going to fall back, so both sides really really scared about taking a fight where they don't have that much vision. In fact, Na'Vi right now are entirely blind. Well, mostly blind.
I was gonna talk about this. I think Vega dewarded maybe 4 of Navi's wards so far this game. And I'm not sure how they can be, I haven't really paid attention to like if they see the wards being placed or if they might just know. They might have studied Navi very well and know the warding behavior.
Charge. Land onto the Disruptor. He does have a Static Storm. Lots of damage from the ultimate. Another strike, but with the Omni Slash, a lot more damage going back towards Sioma. And it will be Biver to survive and get the kill turnaround. Relocate in. Expecting that Nyx Assassin to be caught as well. They will see him. Maybe not. Nighttime vision and all of that. But either way, Vega will have their top lane pushed in the meantime. And fail to get the kill and lose a hero of their own. That is not the type of trade they really want to have right now.
I thought it was a pretty good setup by Vega, but the raindrop actually, he tanked way more than they thought. And way more than I thought on Beaver, on the Disruptor. So, but they don't lose that much when they do this either. It's not the end of the world, for sure, even though it was kind of bad. But they're farming so well on their cores. Actually, they're farming way better compared to Navi's cores than I actually thought, so it's not too bad. Oh, a bit of a panic move by Navi maybe, or are they gonna work out?
Well, comes back into the Static Storm. Afterlife will drop to half. That is a perfectly reasonable amount of HP for him to be at. Terrorblade already used his Metamorph, and he's gonna go to town on this mid lane tower. And it seems like Vega Squadron looking to leverage this Warlock ultimate for a little bit of extra gain here. And of course, as you said, the Terrorblade is stacked out of his mind, and they will actually catch the Disruptor off the side. Burn out his mana. He already used his ultimate, so he's not that useful right now. Split push from Na'Vi on the top lane from General, which is pretty good, but they're not winning a race up against the Terrorblade.
No. Is he gonna go for the knife I got? Oh, close one. No, General needs to get out now though. I think it's safe. This is like how the game is gonna look for a lot of the time, I think, where Vega kind of famous pushed and then Navi tries to split push, and then it's like a game of Spirit Breaker charging someone and then having Nyx follow. But then Vega gotta be careful about leaving too many. So there's like, if there's only 3 people left, Navi can just teamfight them 5 versus 3. And even if Vega's stronger teamfight, they're gonna lose. There's gonna be a lot of like cat and mouse here between what movement and what team will do the proper. That was a smoke from Navi that Vega scouted completely, so Afterlife is just gonna break the smoke, and that's gonna be a bit of a wasted time. You see Turbo just getting further and further ahead all the time, even though Navi are all top lane silent.
Lots of rotation onto this
this
Warlock.
is deep.
And Dendy's gonna arrive as well. Grabs him before he can get the rock to drop. She's going to arrive, but straight into a Static Storm. This Lina's tanky, but will end up going down. Will kill herself at least. And will be another glimpse back onto the Nyx Assassin. Right clicks there. That was a little bit awkward, but still they right clicked him down. That's gonna be a 2 kill for Na'Vi plus a deny on the Lina, dropping her Bloodstone charges, taking her off the field. It was a pretty bold move from Vega Squadron to group up around that Warlock that much and try to save him. I mean, it is just a Warlock. General's gonna get charged by Sioma, but Dendy's still here. Sioma probably doesn't expect that. Wrath of Nature going to be thrown out. Not gonna land just yet. General, Nether Strike. Lina coming in with the Laguna. We'll end up getting the kill. Dendy, not enough gas in the tank to go whole hog there, and we'll just back off.
Yeah, pretty good from Navi overall, even though they lost General. The fight before was definitely in favor. That was close though. If Silent got a golem out, I'm pretty sure they would have died at least 3 people on Navi and probably only gotten Silent. So, but they kind of have to play on the edge like this. They kind of need to, like, generally when Warlock is in the game, the other team almost always have to kill Warlock before he ultimates, otherwise you're losing the fight. Unless you're very far ahead. Pycat in mid lane, this is a weird fight, okay. Because Beaver is coming here. This seems very risky from Navi.
Well, they don't have the Storm Spirit. General is going to teleport behind him and then drum to run away. Sure. I mean, he has drum and phase, so he is pretty quick. It's a little bit of an awkward move. They couldn't defend their top lane anyway, so I don't mind them trying to make that play, but you're really not going to kill that Terrorblade unless you have the Storm Spirit. You need that extra pull to make sure he doesn't sunder. You need his magic damage, which...
Then they almost got a DD, but Offlife stole it. Offlife is actually doing really bad. You see he's level 8. This is not good for him.
Is this spread of farm concerning if you're Vega? Like, yes, your Terrorblade and your Lina, they're mega stacked. But with Navi's pickoff style, having 3 heroes without farm seems like a much larger liability than normal.
I generally I think this would be fine, but Nyx is like extremely underfarmed. If Nyx was like maybe, let's say 2k net worth up, it would be fine. Or like maybe 1.5k net worth up, it would be fine. But this is an extreme. You see Nyx is bottom 3, this is not good. And they really need to utilize the Terrorblade to bring up the other heroes of Vega. And that's what they're looking to do somewhat. General seems like he's gonna get picked off. He doesn't really have an escape here.
Drum phase, run! Well, not gonna run far enough. And who's gonna get the last hit? Yeah, it'll be the Terrorblade sneaking it in. And the way that Terrorblade funnels gold back into his teammates, Metamorph take team fights, Metamorph to take towers, and they're in a pretty good position to do that up towards top lane. And we see Navi immediately jumping into action. They were smoking, looking for kind of a greedy play over in mid lane, expecting a hero to defend that. Will instead just go down towards bottom and, again, try to do what damage they can. Damage from Pycat, since he picked up Mana Style, is pretty substantial. I'm kind of surprised at this. Beaver's going to teleport up towards top lane. Are they really looking for a fight here? They're looking for a deny? I don't even know if Vega saw that or care. Well, okay, they definitely saw it, because now Beaver is going to get charged, still stunned, going to land. Nether Strike will be cancelled, but Reflection slowdown and Terrorblade damage. That was an extremely hopeful play for him. Now towards the bottom lane, they're going to jump in towards G. Chaotic Offering going to land onto pretty much everyone. However, G still alive. LSA onto 3, but he's still surrounded. We'll get the kill on Pycat, and still in the middle of the fight, still swinging, is at a really healthy amount of HP. Denny going to have to get the hell out of there. He can't compete up against Terrorblade. Now, General going to try TP as well. Damage output, well, they have an Impale. They'll get him down. And for Navi, they escape with the Storm Spirit. But going all in on a hero with Bloodstone like that, this Lina refusing to die, and Navi grouped up just a little bit too much. Chaotic Offering and LSA chain stuns the entire team.
Yeah, that was a pretty good response by Vega. Silent especially had really good positioning. He TP'd properly. He has actually a quelling base, so he's cutting through trees a little bit to get even better positioning. But great upheaval as well. And when you land a rock like that, you're most likely losing the team fight. General, when you TP in with a hero like this behind the lines, you're committed. You're either killing all of them or you're dying. And then they didn't want to man up and fight. It actually could have been pretty interesting if he just stayed and tried to like almost die to kill people, because they were getting low with General ultimate coming in. But it's such a hard decision to stay, and I think he made the right move to get out of there. And now we're gonna do a really good play here though. They know that Golem is down. Meta is down, you need to get something here, you can't just go back to farming, so they're gonna go for the Roche, and I do not think Vega has any way to respond to this.
Yoma's just gonna wander right on by, not even gonna bother, and over towards the mid lane. Nick Assassin got caught!
This is great by Navi.
Static Storm with the jump in from Dendy, they'll get a kill, and they'll get the double life for Pycat. And a little bit of split push from the Terrorblade, nothing that the IO can't handle. But Navi taking a rough team fight, very rough team fight over in the bottom lane, at least get something for their trouble, and we'll see if Pycat's actually able to leverage this Aegis in anything useful. Sioma is going to present himself to Beaver, now tracked up with a Thunderstrike, so he's not going anywhere. He's going to get glimpsed right back in to 4 heroes. No chance for that, my friend. There's a pullback, and they have a ping out on G as well. TP coming in from General, almost perfect. Lina is fast, so she'll get out of there just fine.
Yeah, got a blink. She actually picked up a blink there. I'm not sure if she did it right when she saw General TP, but she at least had it when she escaped. Now we lost a big team fight bottom lane, but this is like already back to even. After that. Unfortunately, I do not have graph buttons, and I do not know what my binds for those graphs are, and I'm super scared of doing something stupid. If I
just
try
press all your function keys and something will happen.
Yeah, something will happen. I'm pretty scared about that.
Yeah,
so
it was a big spike for Vega, about 6,000, 7,000, but now it's starting to bend back towards Navi.
Yeah, I think the game is probably gonna look a bit like that for some time, and Afterlife is gonna get out. But especially the great play was they were roshing, and then Beaver just left rosh bait. He's like, okay, we can get more, and he set up the kill on Afterlife. That's like the That's like the extra that you get that really start making a big difference. Because I talked about how underfarmed Afterlife was, and he was like, "I need this farm. I know they're rushing. They're most likely rushing. They have to be rushing. I'm just gonna push this mid lane. They're probably gonna just D5 there because they're scared of us." And he's getting closer to the blink, but Navi decide that they're just gonna kill him as well.
Oh, speaking of killing him, Dendi. There's so many stuns here. He'll be very lucky to be able to deny himself. Not gonna happen. TP's coming in en masse though. Silent is gonna glimmer himself up to the north. And Pycat got left behind. TP coming out of his backpack. He's going to run into a Terrorblade and then try to just straight TP. So much damage. Look at the DPS.
Oh,
Where's your Aegis now? He'll respawn.
Oh, they're going for it. They're really getting in.
I'm not really sure if this is the right decision because Pycat's not going to last long off of the LSA. Now, Saniko, he is in the back and he should not be there either. At least Terrorblade isn't hitting him. He's actually going to try to get into the trees, but no chance for him either. Navi, they're expected to lose these team fights, but the fact they're still trying to go for them is a little bit stunning to me, and now they're going to go for General, who's, you know, pretty much doing exactly what he has to do right now, split push in the meantime, but he's tracked up by the charge. He's not going anywhere, at least not as long as Sioma's on his ass, and General will fall as well. Everyone except the Disruptor ends up dying for Navi, and they get a big fat goose egg.
Yeah, that was not good for Navi. Losing Pycat is one thing, because I think I would call that unlucky. I think I expected him to get out of there, and then they could kill him. Okay, you can't do much about that. It was pretty unexpected. But now General here as well. And he was kind of baiting so that Dendi and Beaver could come, but they were not close enough. And now it ended up Beaver and Dendi rotating to save General. General dies either way, and they just waste the 40 seconds that they could have farmed. And they are losing grip over this game pretty rapidly now. However, Navi's lineup is a lineup that can like one team fight and in a minute just straight up win the game, no matter how far behind they are.
Make no mistake, they are very far behind, and it's starting to get to a point where you have to question for Navi, how the hell do they kill this Terrorblade? Because he is really, really fat right now. Not the most defensive power from his allies in order to save the Terrorblade, no dazzle shenanigans or anything like that, but he has so much health, he has the mobility from the Hurricane Pike, and Navi, their magic damage is not really quite as high as you really want it to be, picking up a Disruptor and IO, mostly utility-based supports, not really damage-based supports. Wrath of Nature is great, they do have the Orchid as well to maybe help that out, but you know, this Terrorblade is really difficult to kill, and Navi should be able to get to the backlines, kill off the non-Terrorblade, non-Lina heroes fairly rapidly, but it seems like every single time they've tried, they've just clumped up a little bit too much, and we all know what happens when you do that up against Warlock. Bad things happen. They are doing what they have to, Navi, but I don't know, with the Terrorblade kind of camping out in the dire jungle, he's able to push top and mid about as well as Navi are able to push bot.
Yeah, Afterlife, he knows people are here, he has Vendetta. See if they can manage to find a kill. He's kind of scared of running out though, because Beaver was here, he knew that, and there's probably senders down somewhere. However, they aren't. And I think he will find Beaver.
Yep. I'm pretty sure this Disruptor is dead.
I think so.
Be Afterlife to do most of the work there, and we'll get the kill. It's another small casualty, perhaps, least net worth in the game, this Disruptor. But for Navi, the question is always, like, yeah, we got a hero picked off. What are we gaining in that downtime? And it seems like most of the time it's just going to be General getting the farm. As you would expect, Nature's Prophet is just going to be in those empty lanes.
Oh, really?
He is very farmed. He's going to teleport in for Sioma. Charge in is going to slow down the IO, but up against 3. Sioma doesn't have any backup this time. Vega are going to let this one go.
Yeah, good rotation. Navi needs to avoid this Terrorblade. This Terrorblade is too big to fight. You should more or less not even think about fighting him unless he's more or less alone. Even if he's alone and there's a Warlock behind to like 3-4-man Golem, he could probably win the teamfight against 5 of Navi. So you really need to play really good on Navi now, and this is how I talked about the lineup of Vega, that they started going for like a team fight with opening, but then they started adjusting to Navi's draft and got these sneaks and Spirit Breaker to start picking people off and hindering the split push of Navi. And this is really paying off in this game, where they just have these 2 heroes chasing kills. Even if they die or if they don't find anything, it doesn't matter, because this Terrorblade is gonna be unstoppable at one point.
Speaking of Terrorblade, gets another free kill on the General, and somehow even with getting Glimpse back, I mean, whatever works, man. General will fall regardless, And yeah, despite how kind of underfarmed this Nyx, the Spearbreaker are, they're also serving to kind of activate the Terrorblade split push power, which isn't really what we see a lot from this hero as far as, oh, you know, pick Terrorblade for split push, but if he's able to get into an aggressive position with a lot of heroes scouting out with him, you will very quickly be able to push in all the lanes. And, well, now he's going to go for real on the high ground. Sneako's going to take an absolute beating here. They drop a Static Storm, not bad, but it's not going to stop the right clicks as he will go down afterwards. Omnislash will bounce Pycat really deep in. He does not want to be here, and he's just going to get shredded. Where's the help? It's all dead. Io's going to relocate out, but he's going to return into a Terrorblade. That is not a good place to be. And Dendi has not moved yet. He's just been waiting for his team to get their shit together, and so far they've just been chain feeding. They are going to get back with the Io into an Elsa and a Rock. Drops onto Dendi as well. With the Impale Chain Stun, can they bring him down before the ball lightning? Yes, they will be able to. No buybacks on Na'Vi. This is one set of Raxes at least. With the push speed of Terrorblade, it might just be two.
As soon as this lineup gets to a point like this, unless you can be able to force split push or anything, you're probably losing the game. And I think Vega are gonna go for the triple Rax even. Storm is spawning soon. They're gonna fall. Okay, this is good, because Storm is really good at picking people off around this base. And in mid lane, they're gonna kill General instead.
General silenced G with the Orchid, and then just started right-clicking the tower. So, mission success for General, I suppose. Tower down, but at this point, a little bit of tier 2 tower gold is going to do little to nothing to stem the bleeding from losing team fight after team fight, then 2 sets of Rax. And the fact that Roshan is going to be coming up soon doesn't exactly help Na'Vi either. Since...
Oh god, this is even worse. There's a DD here for...
Oh jeez.
For Terrorblade.
I love it when I find plus 200 damage runes in the jungle. It's great.
They're lucky. The DD is gonna run out before meta, so there's no insane timing. If that would have been the case, it would probably just been straight game over. But I think they're gonna use this timing still, even if he doesn't have meta, because he's gonna kill towers in like 3 seconds if there's not a glyph.
He also has a butterfly, so even more agility funneling into those illusions. The DD may not get much value here, but he doesn't really need to hit with the main hero. Bold move here from Na'Vi, wrapping around with the Element Surprise. What they have to do, they're going to try to go for Sioma. Omnislash is going to be reflected, I think, with the Lotus Orb, and now the Spearbreaker's A-OK. Pycat's separated, and he's going to run into a Terrorblade, but that's, again, where he does not want to be. Sioma still alive somehow, and the Terrorblade is untouched, just right-clicking everyone down. Dendi may not die to him, but he will have Afterlife on his tail. He, in general, are going to run off to the south as G's cleaning up fools in the back lines. He'll boot to travel, try to get back in. Dendi will get hit with a pretty heavy mana burn here. Silence onto the Nyx Assassin. And Lina is back. Laguna Blade onto Dendi. She still didn't actually use that. Very surprising. General is going to try to live, but that's not going to happen. It's going to be a full wipe in favor of Vega. And in the meantime, Terrorblade had his eyes on the prize. He'll make it a double full team wipe almost. 29-12, and Vega Squadron, off the back of a very farmed TB and Lina, just smash Na'Vi.
Yeah, really well played. I think this was built up from the draft. I wouldn't say Na'Vi got out drafted, but this is the line. Like I talked, Na'Vi played this almost exact lineup, and Vega more or less had decided before the game even started how to respond, and they just executed their draft very good. I wouldn't say perfectly, because Na'Vi did some really good plays as well at times, but it's just too hard to really get a good grip of this game for them. They need to outplay Vega pretty hard to get in an even state in this game.
We saw a lot of time in that game where Na'Vi just didn't have enough vision, and when you're walking blind with Nature's Prophet, an Io, and a Storm Spirit, what are you supposed to do? You got to look for those opportunities to get the pickoffs, kind of abuse the fact that Nyx Assassin was underfarmed, so you can keep him underfarmed, keep feeding off of him. Same thing for the supports of the Vega Squadron side, but without those opportunities being set up by Vision, not much that Na'Vi can do at that point. So, you know, really good defensive sentry coverage from the Vega side. We saw a point where their jungle had, the Vega Squadron jungle had like 5 sentries in it, just to make sure that they were not being looked at, and we can definitely see the impact of it right now. Guys, this is a best of 3, so hopefully we're going to have a little bit more of an even Game 2 coming up in just a little bit. I'm Mike Loris. I've been joined by Kefka. Don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back.